The chamber of the Galactic High Council fell into a hush as Thera Nox stepped onto the central platform. The tall, azure-skinned Veridian woman stood with her chin high despite the heavy restraints binding her wrists. Her silver-flecked eyes, capable of seeing into wavelengths humans could only dream of, scanned the vast amphitheater where representatives of 37 species sat in tiered rings that ascended toward the distant ceiling. "Ambassador Nox," intoned Supreme Arbiter Colvin, his multiple neck folds quivering with what those familiar with Dralian physiology recognized as anticipation. "You stand accused of espionage against the Concordat, unauthorized transmission of classified xenobiological data, and betrayal of your oath as a diplomatic envoy." From his position among the human delegation, Darian Hayes fought to maintain diplomatic composure. At 34, he was young for his role as liaison to the Veridian embassy, but his intuition for interspecies politics had accelerated his career. That same intuition now screamed that something was terribly wrong with these proceedings. "The evidence against you," continued Colvin, activating a holographic display that filled the chamber with floating documents and communication logs, "is substantial and damning." Darian's eyes narrowed. The timestamps on several documents appeared inconsistent with standard council formatting, a subtle irregularity most would miss, but Darian had spent 3 years analyzing interspecies communications protocols. "I maintain my innocence," Thera's voice rang clear, her Veridian accent giving her words a melodic quality. "These charges are fabricated. I demand a proper investigation." A ripple of derisive clicks and hisses spread through the chamber. The Arbiter's assistant, a reptilian Saxic with glossy black scales, stepped forward. "Ambassador Nox's homeworld recently announced the discovery of significant quantium deposits," he announced. "Quantium that should, by Concordat law, be shared equally. Yet private mining operations were detected by Council sensors last lunar cycle." Thera's luminescent skin flushed dark blue with emotion. "This is the first I've heard of any mining operations. My government—" "Your government," interrupted Colvin, "has disavowed you. The Veridian Premier submitted this statement just hours ago." The holographic display shifted to show Premier Vax of the Veridian Confederation. Darian recognized him immediately. He'd met the man during diplomatic functions and had always sensed a coldness beneath his polished exterior. The recording showed Vax expressing profound disappointment in Thera's individual actions, which do not represent Veridian values. Darian watched Thera's composure crack momentarily. The slight tremor in her shoulders revealed her shock at this betrayal by her own leader. "As is tradition," Colvin announced with evident satisfaction, "the accused will remain in isolation until judgment is rendered. All diplomatic privileges are suspended." As security drones moved toward Thera, Darian made an impulsive decision. He stood, drawing surprised glances from his human colleagues. "The Earth delegation requests permission to examine the evidence," he called out, his voice steady despite his racing heart. Colvin's compound eyes swiveled toward him. "The human has no standing in this matter." "With respect, Arbiter, the Concordat Charter ensures all diplomatic entities right of examination in cases affecting interstellar relations." Thera's gaze met his across the chamber, surprise and something deeper reflected in her silver-flecked eyes. Their previous interactions had been professionally cordial but limited. She couldn't know that he had admired her integrity and intelligence from afar for months. "Request noted and denied," Colvin replied. "This session is adjourned." As the security drones surrounded Thera, Darian's superior, Ambassador Whitmore, gripped his arm. "What the hell are you doing, Hayes? This isn't our fight." "Something's wrong with the evidence," Darian whispered. "Those documents have been altered." "Drop it," Whitmore hissed. "The Veridians themselves have condemned her. We can't intervene in their internal matters." As Thera was led away, she looked back once more. In that brief glance, Darian made his silent promise. Political machinations he didn't yet understand had targeted her, but he wouldn't let her face them alone, no matter the cost to his career or even his safety. The truth would come to light, even if he had to illuminate it himself. The Concordat security complex loomed over Capital City like a monument to intimidation. Darian adjusted his diplomatic badge as he approached the reception desk, masking his nervousness with practiced confidence. I'm here to consult with detainee Thera Knox regarding Veridian diplomatic protocols, he stated, offering the data tablet containing his hastily arranged authorization. The guard, a hulking Morvian with granite-like skin, scrutinized the documents. Unusual request. The prisoner is not permitted visitors except legal counsel. Earth Embassy business, Darian replied smoothly. Ambassador Whitmore requires clarification on several joint treaties that may be affected by these proceedings. The lie came easily. In reality, Whitmore had explicitly ordered him to stay away after his outburst in the council. After an excruciating pause, the guard nodded. 15 minutes, Chamber 47. The detention cell was sparse even by Concordat standards, a transparent energy field separating them, monitoring drones hovering in corners. When Thera entered, Darian's breath caught. Her natural luminescence had dimmed, her posture rigid with tension. "Lieutenant Hayes," she said formally, her voice carrying the musical Veridian inflection he'd always found captivating. "This is unexpected." "The documents presented at your hearing were falsified," he said quietly, mindful of surveillance. "The metadata timestamps don't match Concordat protocols." Her silver-flecked eyes widened slightly. "You noticed?" "I've been researching. 3 days ago, Premier Vax met privately with mining consortium representatives. The same day, Quantium futures soared on the Galactic Exchange." Thera moved closer to the barrier. "My people have strict conservation laws regarding Quantium extraction if significant deposits were found." Understanding dawned in her eyes. "They needed a scapegoat. Someone high in your government betrayed you to cover illegal mining operations," Darian agreed. "But why specifically target you?" "My family has overseen environmental protection for generations," she replied. "I would have noticed the ecological signatures of mining activity during my scheduled homeworld visit next month." Their conversation was interrupted by a harsh buzz. "Time's up," announced the guard's voice. Thera pressed her palm against the energy field. Though he felt only a slight tingle when he matched the gesture from his side, the symbolic connection sent an unexpected warmth through him. "Why are you helping me?" she whispered. "You're risking your position." "Because it's right," he answered simply. Then, more softly, "and because I've admired you since we first met at the Terran Embassy reception. Your speech about ethical diplomacy changed how I view my work." A deeper blue flush colored her cheeks, the Veridian equivalent of a blush. "I remember. You were the only one who asked thoughtful questions afterward." As the guard appeared to escort him out, Darian murmured, "I'll find proof. Hold on." Later that night, as Darian accessed restricted network archives from his apartment terminal, he didn't notice the surveillance drone hovering outside his window, its recording eye glowing ominously in the darkness. "You've been busy, Lieutenant Hayes." Darian froze at the unfamiliar voice. Turning slowly in the dimly lit archive chamber, he found himself facing Counselor Gennaro, a rarely seen representative of the ancient Thashan species. The gray-skinned humanoid observed him with compound eyes that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. "Counselor," Darian acknowledged, discreetly closing the holographic display where he'd been examining shipping manifests. "Working late." "As are you, particularly in restricted archives concerning Veridian mining rights." The Thashan's four-fingered hand gestured toward the terminal. "Curious research for a human liaison." Darian's pulse quickened. "General background for the ongoing case." "A case you've been explicitly instructed to avoid." The Thashan moved closer. "The Arbiter has noticed your enthusiasm. It would be unfortunate if Earth's standing suffered because one diplomat couldn't maintain appropriate boundaries." The threat was unmistakable, yet something in the counselor's tone suggested complexity beyond simple intimidation. "Unless," Gennaro continued more softly, "one had compelling reasons to pursue such boundaries." With a fluid movement, the Thashan transferred a data crystal to Darian's pocket. "Security cameras will deactivate for 3 minutes during system maintenance at 200. The southeastern exit is minimally monitored." Before Darian could respond, the counselor departed, leaving him bewildered by the unexpected alliance. That night, examining the crystal's contents in his apartment, Darian uncovered the conspiracy's scope. Financial transactions linked Premier Vax to the Dralian arbiter Calvin through shell corporations. More damning were geological surveys indicating quantium deposits that would make the Viridian homeworld the richest source in 3 sectors, if extracted without concordat oversight. A soft chime at his door interrupted his investigation. Cautious after Gennaro's warning, Darien activated external cameras. Thera stood outside, hood drawn over her distinctive azure features. "How did you?" he began after opening the door. "Counselor Gennaro arranged my temporary release to assist with cultural aspects of my defense," she explained, slipping inside. "We have 4 hours before the tracking system reactivates." In the privacy of his apartment, Darien noticed details he'd missed before. The delicate gill-like structures along her neck that fluttered when she spoke, the subtle pattern of luminescence that shifted with her emotions. "I found evidence connecting Vax and Colvin," he explained, displaying the documents. Thera examined them, her expression darkening. "This mining operation would devastate our sacred forests. The quantium deposits lie beneath our oldest growth, irreplaceable ecosystems." When she looked up, Darien was startled by the moisture gathering in her eyes, silver droplets that caught the light like tiny stars. "Thank you," she whispered. "On my world we have a concept, Kavira. It means one who sees truth when others turn away." Something unspoken passed between them as she placed her hand over his. The touch sent a jolt of awareness through him. Her skin was cooler than human temperature, with a subtle texture like smooth silk. "Thera, I—" The window shattered inward as a concussive charge detonated. Darien reacted instinctively, pulling Thera down behind the couch as a combat drone hovered in the opening, weapons primed. "They've found us," he gasped, reaching for his emergency beacon. "We need to move now."